sir.
Stream will be live any second now. Just waiting for it to refresh. It looks good. Right, I'm just gonna share this and send the invites one more time, then we'll be good to go.
Alright.
Right, stand by. All the invites twice now, should be good.
Would you like one as well?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. And
sending both y'all invites just in case. Am I as a program?
Lex, are you still hosting?
Mike,
Are you still streaming?
Oh no, stream ended.
Everyone's got a red connection for me in the lobby, but oh, it's starting to improve slightly.
A few people have red, some people have yellow.
I have many yellows. I have few.
It's starting to improve now. Okay, right. Let me just see who's tagged me. Hold on. Right, I think we should be good to go. We've got 15 drivers, that looks good. Alright, good luck.
Thank you. Enjoy the show. Alright. We'll just find this thing.
Also, when we go into qualifying, we should talk about the track for a bit.
Yeah. We can.
Data mode, yeah.
Are we on YouTube or
YouTube.
Okay.
We're live now.
Got it. Out. So we have 15 drivers today.
Yeah. It's about the same as we had in the last race, wasn't it?
I think it was about even. I think race 1 was even.
Has someone got a fan on in the background?
Yeah, give me 1 minute.
Yeah, okay, no worries. I think it might be you, Lex. But anyway, I'm going to mute myself now, just to say my name and I'll unmute, otherwise hopefully be a good cameraman. Good luck.
Okay. Alright, thank you. Just let me know if the fan is still too loud in the background. But yeah, so Robbo, I think we did have numbers. Yep. Let's see who exits first. Is there any drivers that you're gonna have your eye on this race?
I don't know, it could be anyone's game with mistake.
Who's on the field? We have Matthew, Garrett, Tyler Bean, and Shakila, Abby. Yeah, really good. There's a lot of potential candidates to steal the show today, I think. I know Matthew EFC 96 is fairly new. I think he was from the Irish recently, so I'll be interested to see how he performs today. Who else am I seeing? Okay, looks like we have the Mercedes out first.
Yep. So, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache is the race for today. It was originally named Interlagos, which in its English translation means between the lakes, when the track debuted in 1973. In 1985, however, the track was renamed to Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache to honour the Sao Paulo local Carlos Pache, who won his one and only Grand Prix victory here in 1975. As well as that, the first two corners also make an honour to Brazil's last Formula 1 World Champion Ayrton Senna with the Escort Senna, or in its English translation, the Senna S. And that's some corners around there that are in Brazilian names. I'm definitely going to butcher the translation of when it comes to the race.
No worries, man. I probably wouldn't do any better, man.
So, yeah. Looks like it is Mercedes on the track first.
I believe that's a Zombie Frog.
Zombie Frog, yep.
Yes, sir.
Let me, if you could just read out the names of the people you're spectating, and then I'll jump to them.
The Zombie Frog moment locked up going into Jinsao as he climbs up the hill. It's technically the final few corners are actually these lockup seems to be struggling with the anti-ABS. Put the corner the slightest bit turn 2 and you can get a penalty for it, and the curve was so flat out onto this little back straight now down the Rector Oposta into turn 5 at the Decido de Lago. Hard on the brakes into the DRS straight. He's very tentative on this lap, doesn't seem too confident with Zombie Frog, and rises back up the hill toward Ferradinho. Double apex corner as he goes very slow and I think he seems to be struggling at the moment with this. Doesn't look the best lap, he's actually got someone quickly approaching as his teammate Ramia in behind. So it'll be interesting to see from Mercedes. The Zombie Frog seems to be struggling at the moment. Clearly doesn't seem too confident. He is now holding up his teammate Amir as they head into Jinsao. The last braking zone, and Zombie Frog locks up and goes straight off.
That's tough. I was about to say maybe he was trying to give his teammates some slipstream, but never mind.
Yeah. So up to the main straight, here comes Amir across the line to set a 1:10.6. This is the time that they're all going to be chasing. Cam a 1:17.7. I think that was a mistake on that lap from the Renault driver. It's a 1:12 for Alex Henry. We're the next one to cross the line into McLaren. And it is, as Johnson goes up into second, Miseria goes into third place, Matthew goes into second with a 10.9. And the lap times are coming in thick and fast now. Cam then heading up the hill toward turn 5, passes the Mercedes as he comes round to try and improve on his 17.7, so I think a mistake was made on that lap. It's looking good. But Cam, a little bit of a moment there, but he seems okay for now. As he heads into Pico de Pato, which leads into the Mergulio, and round into Jinsao flat corner, and then into the last braking zone. As he's actually purpling that middle sector and a long way up on his lap time. This could be a solid lap from Cam as he now rises up the hill through the official final few corners. DRS open as he comes round. Well, he's technically the final corner, very close to the wall, and he goes Q1 for official pole position 9.5. That is a very good lap.
Avi comes right in with a 1:10.5. Sorry about that.
I'll be moving up in a second to see if anyone else is improving on Garrett's on the lap as well as he heads through Mugello. Now at the end of the middle sector, not quite flat. And then in the braking zone for Jinsao, it's important to get a good exit here because one of the key overtaking spots on this track is down this main straight with the DRS under braking into the first corner. But it is important to get a good exit out of Jinsao as he rises up toward the line and across the line. Garrett goes in P10. Now just
With a 1:12.3.
Yeah, just three
Not too
drivers.
bad, not too bad.
Set a time. Proctor looks to be on a lap. He hasn't set a lap time yet as he rises up toward turn 5. Double apex corner. He's actually in overtake ERS mode, which is interesting given the fact that it's the middle sector, a tight, twisty, technical middle sector. It'll be interesting to see what the drivers have done to set up, whether they want to gear it more for that twisty middle sector or to get the better straight line speed. It will be interesting to see now comes around Mugello. Ooh, almost across the curb there, nearly lost it, just about saves that. And now rises up the hill again. The RS as he comes toward the line now and across the line. Where's this going to put him in the timesheet? It's a good lap. It's a very good lap. It's a 1:09.4.
1:09.4. Holy. That's impressive. These race 2 drivers are looking hungry out here.
Yeah. There is Zombie Frog. He's on another lap as well. They ever actually set a lap. Does very much seem to be struggling down in 14th.
Yeah, he's having a hard time on this track right now for sure.
You know, I need to see how well you can do. It's a it can be a difficult track to not invalidate your lap time on with strict corner cutting. It can be quite easy to cut, particularly turn 2 can be one that's quite easily cut. Because you're trying to take it as quickly as possible. It's quite easy to run wide out of Mugello as well. As you rise up towards Jinsao, it can be quite easy to go just a little bit too wide on. But it's looking good at the moment to Zombie Frog. He's not done too bad on this lap so far, but whereabouts will this put him on the grid at the moment? DRS open as soon as possible. Up toward the line at full speed and across the line here comes Zombie Frog to go 14.4. And Enrique is out, and that's an incident on the track at between turns 4 and 5. Oh, he's sat in the middle of the road there. Cam nearly hitting him. Too sure what's happened there. His car is sort of sat there in the middle of the road. I think he's spun it coming out of turn 4. Come back across the track and hit the barrier. That's disappointing for Enrique. So then, on a lap at the moment, I think it is Amir who's just starting a lap by the looks of things as he goes through turn 2 now. So we're on board with Amir in 4th place at the moment. He is nearly a second off the pole time at the moment to see if he can improve his lap. And he is up on his time, but I don't think he's quite purple in the first sector. He's just... Actually, no, he is purple in sector 1, sorry. But we'll see if he can hold that purple lap time to go around the lap to get pole position. Will it be enough for him now? Looking tidy so far for the Mercedes driver. Through this twisty middle sector, it's important not to try and stamp on the throttle as you come out the corners so that you end up spinning uncontrollably. Not ideal. He's down to go toward the end of the penultimate sector. Is it going to be good enough for purple? He is purple in the second sector, is Amir. Comes out of Jinsao now, floors it up toward the line, and is it going to be quick enough for pole? He's been purple in sectors 1 and 2, so this could be a really good lap time, as Alex Henry is also out. There's also fallen victim out of turn 4, but Amir does go pole. It's a 1:09.1. It's quite an impressive time.
Okay, this is very impressive indeed.
They did get into the 1:08 in the first D3 race, but you know, there's still time in the qualifying yet. They've still got nearly 8 minutes. Zombie Frog's out as well. He's been struggling all qualifying and now he has retired from the session. Alex Henry, I think, did actually crash out in the same place that Enrique did out of turn 4 and lost it on the curb or something and hit the barrier, which is seemingly proving difficult. Zombie Frog, like we say, is also out of setting these 1 laps. This is Void Edwards then, as he arrives in turn 6. He hasn't set a time, so it'll be interesting to see how far up the field the McLaren driver can go. You can overtake on this track, and it can be a track that mistakes can be made on, so it's not like qualifying is going to be key around here, but it certainly helps. He's round, and he's actually purple in that middle sector. Up the hill, onto the main straight and up toward the line. Whereabouts is Edwards going to go? He crosses the line, and it's a 1:10.0, puts him 5th into P5. He's not too far away from Avi.
No. He's not. Yeah, he's less than. What is that? Less than a second. Yeah. That's competitive.
It's very close in behind Avi at the moment. It's not very far. Every single driver is currently set lap times on the softs, and no one's opting. Yeah, no one's opting for the mediums. Would you say the medium soft to soft strategy would work around here?
So for me in race 1, I had done these soft mediums, and I find that worked out for me because I ended up crashing in the beginning of the race, spinning out actually. And then I had to pit early. So the soft tires are obviously much easier to manage throughout a longer stint versus the soft tires, right? The medium tires will definitely last longer. So I think that's what helped me gain some positions and overall score that final point. If I had done the medium soft strategy, I don't think that would have been my result.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I mean, the soft to medium strategy is generally the most popular one. I mean, these D3 races are only 25%, so the one stop's pretty much all the viable strategies. Count Shakula comes up to the line now at the end of his lap. Where's he go? Up into 7th place. Yeah.
With a 1:10.8.
1:10.8, yep. Yeah, I think the soft to medium does seem the more popular choice of a strategy.
Yeah, I agree. I was just noticing that the top 3 drivers are currently the only drivers to have a time under 1:10. Yeah. Pretty interesting. Maybe they'll be battling for that P1 because they're all within like close time of, their pace is almost all identical.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with this race. I know with my race I qualified 8th on soft, but then had a penalty which dropped me down to 13th. And then managed to avoid a chaotic start and got up into 6th at the end of it, so it wasn't too bad a race. I mean, I've found that you can get the mediums to softs to work, because at the end of the race, when everyone's on a hard or medium tyre, you end up with a faster tyre, which if you can make it work, but you have to not lose too much time in that first stint.
Yes, I think that's the key. You have to manage those mediums. I think managing the mediums on the first stint is a lot more important than managing the softs on a first stint, if that makes sense. Yeah, because you need that extra life to push, so that when you do get on the soft tires, it's like a good advantage for you instead of you still trying to make up time.
I just noticed Cam was purple in the first sector, but then he validated his lap and has now put his ERS down to 0, so I wonder if he's saving up to get ready to go for another fine lap, because he thinks he might have the pace to go for pole. He did, like I say, he went purple in that first section, then just ran a little bit wide out of turn 4, and then ended up validating his lap. So we'll see if Cam can come first line to start what will be his next fine lap. Puts ERS into 4 now, hard on the brakes for the center S as it turns 1 and 2, trying not to cut the second corner. Almost looked like a bit of an oversteer moment in the middle of the first corner, around the curve of the Sol. And then across the second DRS straight at the Decido toward the Decido Lago. I have no clue if I'm pronouncing that right. And it rises back up the hill into Ferradura. Turn 5, double apex corner. Guys, getting throttle as soon as possible, not run too wide. Then into turn 6 and then 7, which leads up. A good exit out of turn 7. It's looking good into the Pico de Pato, which is actually translates to Platypus Bill. And around of Magellan and into Junsound, the final braking zone. He's purple in that middle sector as Cam as he rises up toward the hill now. Is it going to be enough for pole? He's got about a 4/10 gap to find, as in fact Amir goes out onto the track now on an outlap, and across the line Cam second. He's not quite done it. And onto the front run. I think that might be his last chance at a flying lap. As Amir's on an outlap now, and Proctor's coming out, so it looks like they're going to come out to retaliate to see if they can get pole position.
The first strike has been blown. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. I like when that happens. When drivers are forced to have to defend something.
Yeah, Cam has right down his gauntlet, and now it's the challenge of Amir and Proctor. Speaking of Amir, he is now just going out of Jinsan, will be starting his lap to see if he can defend his pole position, because Proctor looks like he could be a challenger for pole. And in fact, Avi gets into the 109s.
Let's not forget about Void as well, right? He's not too far from Avi. So, if you can catch Avi's time, then he can also attack Proctor. So, all he has to do is make up 5/10 right now, and he can get that P3.
Amir is down in the first sector on his own lap time, but I reckon the most lap time will be made or lost in the middle sector. In the car rotated and braking appropriately, it's the middle sector where you will probably lose the most amount of lap time. So how does Amir handle it? It's looking smooth right now and tidy, which is the first step to setting a quick lap time. You're not going to be going quick if you're spinning around in circles. You count down into the final 10 seconds of qualifying, and Amir he's just down on his lap time in the middle sector, but he's still purple in that middle sector, so as he rises up, it could be a good enough lap for Amir to take pole position. Here comes Amir toward the line now, through the final corner and across the line. It's a 109.1, it's a slight improvement on his own lap time, and now Proctor is going to be trying to challenge it. Proctor actually purple in that middle sector, but is he going to be good enough to go up toward the line to take pole at the very end? It's the line, it's so close, but not quite close enough, and it's Amir at the moment on pole position. What about Avi in the pits? Edwards comes round Magellan now and into Jinsa at the end of the middle sector, and crosses the middle sector, actually purple apparently, and he is up, so he's up on the time, but will it be enough? Can Edwards strike a surprise to go for pole position at the end of qualifying? Towards the line, DRS open, full throttle, maximum speed, and he does improve, but doesn't quite improve his position. What about Count Shakula now?
Good try.
Count Shakula coming up the hill. And it's a 109.7, which does jump Edwards, so Shakula up into 5th place now.
6 drivers now under 110. He's on half the pack.
Will Johnson join the 109 club, or will he stick as the leader of the 110s? He will, a 110 exactly. Although I think that was an invalid time. It's showing, actually no, it's showing a 109.99.
Ah, wow.
He's just got into the 109s.
Yeah. Good effort, Mary.
Johnson isn't even that either. So we could be in for a very close race, and I think everyone that is on a lap has finished a lap, so that will be qualifying over, and so it will be Amir on pole position. A 109.1 is your pole time here in the second D3 race.
Hoping that these drivers can have a clean first lap. This will be a very interesting race for overtaking to actually close a gap, right? Because these
Yep.
drivers are all pretty even on pace. But
Yeah. To finish first, you first have to finish. And to finish, you have to survive the first lap, which is often where chaos happens. I think we saw it in the first D3 race. So there was a few cars everywhere at the first corner. It was
hmm
a bit all over the place. So if they can survive the opening lap, it could be a good opportunity to maybe make up some positions if there's chaos. And
I'd
see.
like to commend all of these drivers for none of them getting a penalty. This was a clean quali session. Good job, guys.
But will it be a clean race? Yep, so there we have it as your grid. It's Amir on pole position, Proctor second, and Camcam third. But how will they finish at the end of 18 laps? Just putting the final touches on any strategy decisions and the setup. We see into the pack firm, it's only the front wing, brake bias, and the fuel load you can change. The rest has to be the same from when you leave garage and qualifying to the race. What are your predictions then? Who do you think's going to win this one?
Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna go with Amir E77. He's driving my favorite car right now, so I'll go Team Mercedes.
Fair enough. Yeah, so a formation lap is underway. This is the driver's last chance to get as much heat into the tyres as possible. Try to see a lot of weaving and we'll see if any drivers get sent to the naughty step of the grid for hitting each other. Everyone looks to have done the first couple of corners on this formation lap time. And there already seems to be quite a big gap in the middle of the field there between the top group and the bottom group in a formation lap, which is obviously not ideal if you're one of the front runners, because the less time you spend on the grid, then the higher your temperatures will be, because you're not getting any heat into tyres or brakes if they're standing still. So you do not want to be miles ahead of the drivers at the back, but that does seem to be the case at the moment. There does seem to be quite a few gaps. But everyone looks to have survived the formation lap thus far.
So far, so good.
And no one spun on the formation lap.
My formation lap was a disaster. I had spun, but at least I didn't cause any incidents.
You spun right in front of me and that. I nearly spun watching you.
Oh man.
I think I saw it happen. I'm like, that's one way to get heat in the tyres.
It sure was.
Here we go then, as the top drivers line up onto the grid. The game will have taken control by now. Also, I suppose they don't want to have used too much fuel. So, everyone is starting on the soft tyres as well for this race, and I suppose again they don't want to be using too much ERS on that formation lap. So here we go, lining up on the grid, and we'll be ready. D3 race, the lights come on, the engines rev, the tension rises, it's lights out, and there's stopped on the grid on my screen. Oh, hang on, there they go. There they go. Mia leads away and immediately goes to cover off the Alfa Romeo. Then there's a McLaren. I think that's Edwards that's gone steaming down the inside. There is cars spinning. There's cars spinning around at the back, and someone has gone very wrong. It's Enrique, and the Red Bull has dropped all the way down to the back. So Shakula's dropped quite substantial as well. And there's another row. That's Johnson who's spinning uncontrollably for the cover of sauce. There are cars seemingly everywhere at the moment, and there has been chaos.
Oh, Proctor goes.
Oh my god!
Was it Proctor? No, it was.
There is a lot of cars off at turn 4.
That? Oh wow, that was tough.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cars were involved in the collision there at turn 4, and a virtual safety car has been deployed for it. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but there will definitely be some incident to be looking into for the stewards. Look like they're going to have a busy day after this race. In
Tell
fact,
me about it.
Count Chocula has been given a penalty for hitting someone under the virtual safety car. Now, the thing is, this game, under safety cars, even the lightest tap is like you can just breathe on them and you get given a penalty for it, which can be quite annoying. So, when it says severe collision, it might not be anything, but the virtual safety car ends and Amir is under immediate pressure from Cam in the lead of this race. Cam goes to the outside of Amir, but it's not quite close enough to get around him at turn 1, and so Amir lives to fight on another day. And one thing that's interesting is Cam has got less fuel than he's needed to get to the end. He's got that yellow fuel light on, which is interesting. I wonder if he tried to underfuel. And there's a lot of cars that seem to be going into the pits already. In fact, Shaka's been given a penalty for speeding in the pits. So a fair few people have had to make a first lap pit stop. And so Amir still leading with Cam in second. Edwards up into third place. Proctor and Matthews, who runs very wide out of turn 5. But the top 4 are starting to pull away now. And in fact, Amir's looking to try and get a gap out to Cam, and I think he's done just about that. He's over a second, which will be crucial for the next lap when DRS becomes a thing. There we go, we've actually got Avi and Monsieur Avi and the McLaren looking very close there into Jinsao. I think Avi might have gone in a little bit deep there and hasn't just about kept it under control and has lost a lot of time to the McLaren. As Amir sets a new fastest lap to Proctor, he's very close on the back of Void Edwards, and they have now got DRS, and the detection point for the DRS down the retro poster is in the middle of turn 2. Down the main straight, it is just coming out of Jinsao up the hill. There we go, hard on the brakes, and Proctor not quite close enough to go and move on Edwards, who himself is keeping close to Cam for second. Amir starting to pull out that gap there. And it is interesting that Cam has apparently got less fuel than he needs to get to the end of the race. He looks to have under-fueled slightly. But Edwards getting very close in behind. And a few drivers after the pit stop. We've got Johnson on the hards, Todd, and the Racing Point are on the medium compound of tyres. Count Chocula. Anyway, we now have Edwards and Cam and Proctor still very close to each other, and Edwards looks like he could be in with a shot at grabbing second here. And here he goes in the DRS in the slipstream, and he's got very little DRS as Edwards. As he's getting in behind, he sets the fastest lap en route, not quite close enough to get ahead of Cam there. It's not quite enough, and now he's gotten very close as they head through the curve of the Sol and onto the second DRS straight. As Edwards is going to get another shot at DRS, here he comes. Is he going to go for the move into turn 4? Not quite close enough. And so Cam still holding on. We've got a yellow flag somewhere, so I think there's some sort of incident. It's the McLaren. The share has gone around, and he's made contact with Garrett there at the curve of the Sol. Another virtual safety car has been deployed. And no front wing for Michiera on the start of this race, and that's not ideal. I think a full safety car would probably be more preferable for some of the drivers that were involved in the first lap chaos, but what a start to this race has had. We're only 4 laps in, we've had 2 virtual safety cars. What's been your verdict on the start? So Edwards, as they stay relatively close in the virtual safety car, you can gain slightly on the virtual if you do it just about right. It's also a good opportunity to put the fuel into lean, to put the ERS into 0 and try and get it all back. In fact, Edwards has lost out a fair bit to Cam, and now Proctor is all over the back, because it can be quite tricky to stay under the delta for the virtual, which is why gaps can change. And as the virtual safety car ends and DRS gets re-enabled, this is now a chance for Proctor to try and get out of Edwards, who has dropped. Edwards has dropped 2 seconds behind Cam now. So Proctor's in very close to try and go for a spot to get onto the podium in the top 3. In fact, into through turns 2 and 3. Now we've got 3 cars all very close. We've got Enrique, Alex Henry and Garrett all very close to each other as they head on, and Alex is gone. And Alex contact, I think, with Enrique, as Enrique tries to get down. Has now lost his front wing. And it seems to be a rather chaotic start. It has been a rather chaotic race, and I think from the session after that one.
Yeah, could have seen that coming. Good try, GG, good effort anyways.
But anyway, meanwhile at the front we've got Proctor still very close in behind Edwards now, but is he going to be close enough to go for the move? Edwards feels the need to go defensive, so there goes Proctor pointing to the outside, and around the outside goes Proctor into turn one, but he's not quite had enough there, and that is Edwards' doors welded shut on this occasion. Proctor needs to wait till the next DRS straight. Is Edwards going to have to go defensive again? No, he doesn't, and Proctor looks to the inside warning to get past. He's losing a little bit of time out now to Edwards through turn 5. Meanwhile, we've got the Ferrari of Matthew and the Alpha of Avi getting very close to each other as they head through turn 7 now, rising up toward Pico de Pato. Is not quite close enough for a move yet, or at least not into this section of track. Probably best opportunity is to try and get the run on him out of Junsao and get the DRS. Now looking good as he tries to get the run, he'll get the DRS all the way. He's closing in the slipstream there, he puts his DRS up to 4, does Avi to get maximum straight line speed. Here comes Avi, pulls to the inside, Matthew not defending that one, and Avi gets down the inside, and that's Avi into P5.
Bravo, bravo, nice pass on the inside.
The question is, will Matthew fight back with the DRS here? He has got the DRS, but this straight seems a lot smaller than the main straight, and so it's really not enough for Matthew to get back ahead of him. Meanwhile, Void and Proctor, Avi's teammate, are very close as they head now down into turn 7. It's incredibly close between these two. It makes you wonder if Edwards is going to go for a move here into Pico de Pato. Not quite enough. Edwards desperately wanting to go through and get a move onto the podium. He's not quite close enough yet, but if he can get the run out of Junsao, he will very much have the DRS and will very much be close enough to maybe make the move into the first corner. But it looks like Proctor's just got the edge on him, coming out of the Junsao and up to the hill onto the main straight. DRS in the slipstream, but is he going to be close enough to get down the inside? I don't think it is, unless he's planning a lunge. So no, it's not quite good enough. It's not quite close enough for him yet. Second straight, is he close? Still not enough to get in there, so he's going to have to wait yet another lap behind. And I'd expect to see pit stops from most of those that haven't pitted.
Yep, I was just about to mention that too.
Laps.
Because they're about halfway done the race now.
Yeah, this seems to be the plan, is to pit in these next couple of laps.
So 5 drivers have already done one stop. No driver in the top 5 has stopped already.
The highest driver that has stopped is Johnson.
Yes, sir.
In P9, and he's on a set of the hards. I think those 5 that stopped were the ones that got involved in a massive collision earlier on in the race. I'm sort of disappointing to see them, but I'm not too sure what actually happened. It was just cars seemingly everywhere. But is Edwards going to be close enough to make the move now? Is it on the main straight for DRS open? But I don't think it is, as Proctor's in the pits, and so Proctor puts his challenge down and is the first driver in the pits, as that is the McLaren Michera being lapped by Camcom. So now Edwards gets up in the third, but with Proctor in the pit lane, and in fact Matthews in as well now, so is Proctor trying an undercut now? Edwards needs to, if he wants to pit this lap, he's going to need one hell of an in-lap to try and jump Proctor in the pits. Is Proctor going to come out in traffic? Looks like he hasn't, so he's all out in clean air, and so this is the opportunity for Proctor, who needs to set as quick a lap time as possible in this outlap to see if he can stay close enough to Edwards to get back in when Edwards pits. At the moment they're about 18 seconds apart, 18-19 seconds apart as Proctor and Edwards. So interesting to see, and it's about 20-second pit stop, and Edwards is currently looking like he's in the car behind Proctor. So it'll be interesting to see, does Edwards make the pit stop now and pit in, try and cover off the undercut from Proctor?
I think he should.
Yeah, he's in. Edwards is in. Amir and Cam, however, are still staying out. Yet another lap. Edwards picks up a penalty for speeding.
Oh, 5 seconds.
And that changes everything. He really struggled to slow down enough, and so does Edwards in the pits. Where's Proctor? Is he going to get out ahead? It's quite a long pit exit, this. But is it going to be close enough? There's Proctor goes down into turn 1 now, and I think he has, because there's Edwards coming out of the pits. It's going to be quite close between the two, but I think Proctor might just have it. I think he does, yeah.
Yeah,
so Proctor back out ahead of Edwards. In fact, I think Edwards might have taken some damage there coming out of the pits.
It looked like he went a little bit loose, right?
Yeah, he has. He's missing an end plate on one side.
On his right side.
Yeah, it looks like he's had a mistake in the pit lane and now has damaged his front wing, and that could really cost him a result there. Is Proctor going to be close enough to undercut Cam? He might get a bit closer. He's 21.6 seconds behind Cam at the moment. Amir's in the pits. Cam's staying out. As Enrique is another retirement, and that is actually just out of turn 4 again. So it's the same car that looks to have struggled in qualifying.
Ooh.
And the same problems in the race. But interestingly, Amir pits, and I don't think Proctor is going to be close enough to Amir to get ahead. But what is the gap between Proctor and Cam, who hasn't yet stopped? So Cam's staying out even longer. And is Proctor going to be able to get close enough to Cam to get out ahead? As Edwards has actually dropped a long way behind Proctor now. In fact, Edwards has pitted in again. He's serving a 5-second penalty and a front wing change, and it's gone horribly wrong for Edwards. And now onto a fresh set of softs. But Cam staying out on this lap. Will he pit at the end of this lap? And is Proctor going to be close enough to undercut him? That will be the question. Does Cam enter the pit lane? No, he's staying out for another lap. Now that is interesting. So I think Proctor is actually gaining on Cam at the moment. It's interesting that he's opting to staying out another lap and onto lap 12 on the same set of softs. I think he's the only one. Yeah, he's the only one yet to make a pit stop in this race.
With an 18-second lead, Cam, it would be in Cam's interest to probably pit now.
In fact, Proctor, in all the pit stops, trying to interrupt there, but Proctor has actually gained in a lot on Amir, because Amir was quite a fair way out ahead. Proctor's only 1.6 seconds behind, so I think Proctor is in Cam's pit window here. So if Cam pits now, he might even end up behind Proctor. And that could put Proctor up into second place, not too far off Amir, should Amir make a mistake in this race.
Interesting theory. Let's see how it plays out. If Cam pits this lap, then we will see. I think he has enough time to pit and make it out the pit lane before
Cam's in.
Who knows? Okay,
Cam
so he
is
does
in.
pit.
So where is Amir and Proctor? I think just going through sound now is Amir, and will he be close enough to take the lead back from Cam? Well, we're about to find out. I think he will. Amir will take the lead back, but will Proctor get ahead if Cam comes out already?
If Cam's
leaving the pits. He's on the pit exit.
I think Amir's gonna get him. I think Amir might get him.
Amir, it's gonna be quite
Amir
close.
got him. Amir did get him.
Is Proctor going to get him? Proctor's got him as well, but just about. And now Cam comes out in third place and has lost the position to Proctor, but now has 4 lap fresher mediums than Proctor, so he might be able to fight his way back through. And a little bit of good news for Edwards is that he's the only driver on softs, so he'll have faster tyres and fresher tyres than all apart from Cam, so he might be able to really push hard and try to recover some positions back, but it's not gone too well for him.
It's interesting to see Johnson on the hard tires right now. I'm not sure what his strategy is, but
I don't think
5
that
laps
was
to go.
planned. I don't think that was planned. I think it's because what happened was he he was involved in that incident on the on the first lap, and then
Right?
decided that the hards might be the only time to mix at the end. So I think that was his thinking.
I
But
see. Yep.
Cam in the DRS of Proctor, and he's gaining quite rapidly on that straight with the DRS to get him into turn one, into that second position. And he goes on to the second DRS straight out of the 1 second mark, but just was in enough to get DRS, but has dropped a fair bit back through the first for another day. Although Cam has actually still got not enough fuel to go to the end. He's still got that yellow fuel light warning, which is telling him he's under the fuel, which would be interesting if he doesn't claw that fuel back. I think, because I saw that right from the start, so I think the plan was to underfuel the car
Under
a little.
fuel, yeah, that's what it looks like.
And then hope to get it back, but I think the constant battling that Cam's done is not giving him the opportunity to get it back. Now he's going to have to push to try and get second, so I don't think it's worked too well for Cam here. It's enough. No, he needs to get it even closer. They just set a purple final sector en route to gaining on Proctor there, through the curve of the Solon onto the second DRS straight down the retro poster, and Proctor's gone defensive slightly, puts back onto the driving line. As they approach the braking zone, Cam's still not quite close enough to get ahead there. Running a little bit wide there is Cam, and now trying to chase Proctor. How will this race develop into the final 3 laps? It's going to be enough for Cam to get ahead of Proctor. Will he hold? And they're coming up to some lapped traffic. That, I believe, is Garrett in the Toro Rosso that is just ahead of Proctor and Cam. So they're quickly approaching some lap traffic, and in fact, so has Mia is also behind the McLaren Mushera, so the lap cars are looking like they're playing their hand in this race now. And we'll see how well Garrett gets out of the way. Proctor and Cam will be racing hard for that second place position.
I think it is going to be a battle for the second position, most definitely.
It seems to be the closest battle on the track right now, but Cam's still not close.
Slow them down.
Yeah, but Proctor is actually going to get the DRS round here, I reckon. And he does get the DRS because it works both ways. If you're within a second of a back marker at the detection, you still do get the DRS on them. And Cam, very close to making the move. But that DRS, I think, might have just helped Proctor enough to stay ahead there. There's the back markers as well. That's Garrett and Mushera, who are actually battling each other themselves. So this is going to make things really interesting, because neither of them just want to give up their battle.
Which is wrong. These drivers that are back markers right now.
Oh, and it's gotten very tight. Garrett gets down the inside. Mushera seems to let them through now. And now does Mushera nearly get them through, but not quite. And so Garrett's actually gained and has overtaken Mushera throughout all of that. And they didn't want to lose too much time. They did manage to survive that one, with Cam on the back of Proctor still 6 tenths back with the DRS, and now Proctor without DRS. Is he going to be close enough to make the move for second? And in the background, what about Garrett and Mushera as they race hard? And Garrett does get down the inside on Mushera, and a lock up there from Mushera as he cuts the second corner as well. This is McLaren, so those two still really racing hard for 11th. It's not even for a point. But meanwhile, Proctor,
you can see the fighting spirit here in online Formula Racing, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what position you're in. If there's somebody that you can pass, you're going for it. Oh,
and there's been contact.
Close the door on Mishra. Mishra damaged. Oh no.
And racing is good, but it can easily go wrong sometimes.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, let's hope that Cam and Proctor have kept it clean, though, in all fairness to them, and so it's been a decent race from the pair of them. They've kept us entertained for this whole race, and slowing down onto the final lap by the looks of things. There we go. Cam on the back of Proctor, and I don't know if Cam's going to have the fuel to make the end of this final lap as they go on to it now. In the DRS, he's half a second back, he's 4 tenths back. He's not quite close enough, but Proctor did try to go a bit defensive. Cam getting a bit of a difficult line for that first corner as Proctor gets a 3-second penalty.
Oh no.
And now suddenly, I don't know if Cam's got a penalty, but that might have just helped. That might have just helped Cam get the second place there, unless Cam has a penalty.
So Cam does not have any penalties or any warnings led up to the race thus far. So that means as long as Cam finishes this race
just be within
ahead of Avi, you will be complete.
Yeah, it just needs to be 3 seconds in Proctor, and I don't know. The thing is, will Cam know that Proctor's got a penalty?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Will Cam as he runs all the way wide out, Johnson is losing time, but only toward the line to win the race. He's had an incredible race, and Amir wins the second D3 race, grabbing the fastest lap
on the final lap. Oh,
Proctor finishes second, but Cam does get a P2 due to the penalty. Yep. And that's honestly going to be disappointing for Proctor. Avi, 20 seconds back. The top three have been in a class of their own. And across the line comes Avi for P4. Edwards has managed to claw his way back up into 5th, to be fair. Last time I saw him, he was down in 8th, so he's done well. But I'm sure he'll be left wanting more. He's in that fight for the podium until he had an incident in the pit lane, and that does finish Edwards. Because Matthew is now coming up toward the line.
Yeah, good job, Matthew. He's finishing P6.
Yeah, so Matthew P6. Johnson on those hard tyres is currently 7th, and it looks like he's going to remain in 7th. In 8th place is Todd. Oh no, sorry, Todd moves up into 7th. Johnson had a penalty. Aladdin 9th, and Shakula 10th. Garrett 11th, 12th Nishera, and Zombie Frog finishes his race in 13th. Only a couple of DNFs in that one. And that was quite an exciting race, actually.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So, Mr. Rabo, pleasure. Thank you very much for your commentary.
Thank you.
Everybody in the stream.
Hey guys.
Thank you.
For the last 3 laps of the race, the video went down, but the audio was still there. It was so everyone was calling it. Everyone was calling it OFR radio. It was quite entertaining though. So good job. You managed to keep everyone watching, which is good.
Well, I'm glad they all stayed around and enjoyed it. Smash that like button.
And it's not an entertaining race without drivers that make it entertaining. So thanks to the drivers.
Yes,
absolutely. Amir definitely has the pace for D1. He could even be, I think he might even be in D2 next season with his potential teammate Avi. But Proctor and Cam as well, those guys are fast and we need to get them bumped up as well. They're very good drivers.
Yeah, to be fair, the top 3 in that race were miles ahead of anyone else.
Absolutely.
20-second gap between Proctor and Ivy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to stop the stream. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Lex, we had another 300 plus comments here today, and we had about 400 in the first stream in Twitch as well. We are doing great. We are doing great.
Thank you to everybody who's showing us all the support, man.
Yeah. All right.
Love to all y'all.
All right. Thanks very much, guys.